Hi, everyone. My name is Steven, and I decided to jump into this Eurovision vlogging rabbit hole. And you all are probably thinking, oh, here's another one providing their 2 cents here. And I have to say, I'll offer some of that. But I think what's missing out there is someone who is just truly a Eurovision data nerd. There's so much data out there in terms of numbers and metrics and things of that nature. And usually we use data to inform our decisions sometimes and what we think will happen in the future. And so I wanted to play with some of the numbers with Eurovision, with some of our national finals, and why not start with the most notorious national final, the Swedish national final, Melodifestivalen. And so I know a lot of people out there are thinking it's a foregone conclusion that Måns Zelmerlöw is going to win with Revolution. And there are people out there who are speculating that Cash will win Eurovision, win Melodifestivalen with the huge surge of popularity and publicity that they got for their song. And then there are some fans out there who like their hush, hush, boom, 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 chicky, chicky, chicky. So I'm just here to say to you, it is foregone conclusion. Måns Zelmerlöw is going to win Melodifestivalen. So Måns has always started off as the front runner in the bookies, and he continues to be the odds-on favorite with the bookies. But that's not the only metric, but it's the first metric that we'll start with because I think there's something important to really highlight. And so the first data that I'm going to show you all is the betting odds of the former winners going back to 2019, because that's the current voting system that we're working with in Melodifestivalen, what their winning chance was going into the final, and what were the Unibet odds. And I just chose Unibet because you could choose any of them. I just chose them. So you see right now, Måns has a 58% winning chance. The Unibet odds have him at 1.44. That is pretty consistent to what you see with all the other former winners, minus the Mamas in 2020. Jon Lundvik, 63%, 105. Toos, 61%, 1.3. Cornelia Jacobs, 55%, 1.44. Lorraine, 81%, 1.01. Marcus and Martinez, 68%, 1.15. Måns is in a similar threshold where the winning chance is so high, the betting odds are narrowing closer to 1. He's in prime position amongst the bookies, and it's pretty consistent with historical numbers that he's going to win the contest. But obviously, that is not the only indicator that we rely on to predict a winner for the contest. You have to look at their past performances as well. And so let's take a look at the history of Måns Zelmerlöw. Come closer, gotta be, gotta be a love. It's all we need. Don't stop, I'm still standing for hope and glory. I'll be fighting for. We are the heroes of our time. Heroes. So as you can see here, Måns has a history of doing extremely well with both the juries and the public vote. He won the jury vote twice. And with the public vote, he came close to winning it twice. He came second in 2007, and then he won it in 2015 with Heroes. That is a pretty good track record. So we know that he can win the public vote. We know he can win the jury vote. And when you look at the historical data of all the winners since 2019, which I'm going to show now, what you will see is that all the winners since 2019 won the jury vote. There has not been an exception to that trend. You need to win the jury vote to win Melodifestivalen. Plain and simple. Now, the interesting thing, too, is that 5 out of the 6 times, the public winner ends up being the jury winner as well. So you have this general agreement between the juries and the public on who their winners are, minus 2022, but we'll save that for another day. Now, there's also another indicator that I looked at, which is that all these winners happen to be the winners of their heats. Means that in order to win Melodifestivalen, you need to win your heat. And probably the reason through that is that when you win your heat, you have proven yourself to win in a system where it is 100% public vote. So you would normally do well in a public vote anyway. So the missing piece to all of that is that you need to do well with the juries. So Mons won his heat, which was heat 4. And it's probably going to be a good indication that Mons is going to win the jury vote, and I think the televote, and it's going to be a clean sweep. I think it's probably going to be within the 170 to 180 point range. I wouldn't want to say take it to the bank, but definitely, I would definitely put money on it if I was able to bet on it. Now, many people out there are wondering, well, Kej has this great song. It's catching fire. It's catching streams and everything. And the main question is, can they win? I have to say, unfortunately, to the fans out there, they have no chance of winning. And here are the indicators, right? Number one is that they did not win their heat. They lost their heat to Måns Zelmerlöw. They qualified, being the next qualifier in that heat, but they didn't beat Måns. And as I said before, you need to win your heat in order to win Melodifestivalen. They didn't win their heat. So you have that as a crutch. I do believe, as a result, Måns is going to beat Kej in the televote. But also, they're going to have a problem with the juries, because the juries are not going to vote a song like this. And here's another data set that I'm going to bring to you, which are the top jury scoring acts from 2019 to 2024. And these are all acts going from the perfect score, which is Jon Lundvik, Too Late for Love, all the way down to Clara Hammarström, Beat of Broken Hearts, which placed 5th in the juries and got 43 points from the juries. Now, I bring this up because many people think out there, well, if he could sweep the public vote, he can probably do okay with the juries and still win. And I have to say, it's some pretty inventive math out there, because I did the math, right? So as you could see, when you go back to the list of winners, most of the winners won at least 175 points and above. There are only 2 winners that won lower. Cornelia Jacobs with 146 and the Mamas with 137, which was a very, very close year. But when we talk about maybe, let's say, a Cornelia Jacobs type of situation here, let's play that hypothetical. You need 146 points to win. Okay, let's say if Gish gets 96 points from the public, you need 50 points from the juries. Let's go back to that list of the top jury scores from 2019 to now, and you'll see that they would need to place in the top 4 or higher in the juries to be even viable for that. And so when I think about the top 4 for the juries, I think of Måns, I think of Grexula, I think of Erik Segerstedt, and I think of Jon Lundvik. And many people are saying, well, why are you saying Jon Lundvik? Take a look at Jon Lundvik's history with the juries. He's placed 3rd, 1st, and 4th. He has always been in the top 4 with the juries, and he has a solid song. He has always solid vocals. This is something that the juries will vote for. So with that in mind, is it even possible for Kej to get into the top 4 for the juries? My indication says no. My indication says that he cannot hit 50 jury points, or even in the high 40s. And if you're not there, you're not going to be viable at all, regardless if your televote is going to be a perfect televote score. And mind that the only person to score a perfect televote score in the current system is Tus in 2021. So you're basically asking him to do a perfect run-up in a very highly improbable situation. And so, what I'm saying to all the fans out there, I'm sorry, it's not possible. It's not mathematically possible. There is no path for Kish to win Melodifestivalen. So, all in all, I will basically sum it up here. There are other shout outs that I want to provide. Grexula, who I think is an incredible act, credible vocals, really bringing back the sounds of the 80s and the 70s rock. I think he will perform in the top 4 overall because he won his heat. And that is a voice and the vocals that the jury will appreciate. I also want to do a shout out to Clara Hammarström, who's also doing pretty decently well in the odds. I don't think she'll win. I don't think she'll make that top 4 in the final placings for Melodifestivalen. She just has an inconsistent record with the juries and the public vote. She didn't win her semifinal. And so sometimes the public is feeling it and then the juries are not. And then it's the other way around. So it's pretty unpredictable. But I just also want to say that she has always come back with strength and with improvements to her performance, to her vocals. And I hope that she gets to represent Sweden one day. So with that, what are my final predictions? My final predictions are the following. Here I have high jury and high public points, Måns Zelmerlöw, Grexula, Erik Segerstalt. And the reason why I put these 3, and I will show back to my other data set here, is that you need to win your heat to have a good chance of being in the top 4 in the final placings. And so Måns, Grexula, and Erik all won their heats. These are acts that are probably going to be very appreciated by the juries. And so if you have a good jury score and you have a good televote score, you're going to probably be in the top 4 or 5. So I am not going to be surprised, and I make my prediction, those 3 in particular are probably going to be in the top 5 of the final placings. Now, going clockwise here, high jury to low, medium public points, Jon Lundvik, Scarlett, and Clara Hammarström. Low to medium jury and public points, Annika Wickeholder, Saga, and Maya. And then low to medium jury and high public points, Gej, Mara Omar, and Dolly Style. So where does that land in terms of placing in ranks? Not really entirely sure, but I feel pretty confident of my top right quadrant here. Måns is going to win both the jury and the televote. Grexula and Erik are going to do well with both the juries and the public, insofar that I see both of them in that top 4 or 5. And so those are my predictions for Saturday night. Again, it's always just a fun exercise to do these things, but it's always great to see the amazing production that is Melodifestivalen. And so with that, more importantly, is to enjoy a fantastically produced show with some incredible acts. Melodifestivalen is always one of the greatest national finals out there because you see just quality and just professionalism and polishedness and some fun as well within all these acts. And so with that, enjoy Saturday night and have a good night.